contagious. One-handed follow-through, and she giggled. Michelle is off to the right, Moria to the left.
Next up on the tee, from Sweden, a major champion on the LPGA Tour, winning the 2018 ANA Inspiration, Pernilla Lindberg.
Grant, she has certainly enjoyed that win, and she has gone out of her way to do everything that anyone asked her to do, feeling as though, first of all, it was a bit of responsibility, but kind of taking a lot of joy in the moment.
A victory lap of sorts. She deserves it. 192nd career start when she won for the first time there at Mission Hills. The fairway's wide open. Something going off in the background there.
If you can hit it down the center of this fairway, there's a little turn, a little slope that will have the ball just leak to the right. Looking right.
Okay, so all three have missed the fairway at this tough par 4, which Judy just mentioned is playing as the second toughest hole. Let's look at some of the highlights on what has been a terrific day for scoring. And let's begin with Lexi Thompson, a past winner here. This is her third shot at, yes, a par 5, 16th.
Yeah, it is now the 5th par 5 on the golf course. Good shot, easily reachable for Lexi, but nice little chip.
She'll go on to shoot 4 under par 68. So Yan Yu hit all 18 greens in regulation today. That birdie at the 17th would lead to a round of 64. Lizette Salas for birdie at the 9th, her last hole of the day. Low round of the season for Lizette Salas, a 6 under par 66. How about our defending champion, Brooke Henderson, playing with So Yan Yu? This is from just off the back of the 18th.
Watch this ball just fall in the hole. It was just perfect speed.
On that 18th hole, she closed out the victory last year with her father, Dave, watching on Father's Day. A solid 3 under par 69 for Brooke, and her sister Brittany on the bag. 35-year-old from France, Celine Herbin, who played so well last week at the ShopRite, continues to play well and snags it out of the hole at the 17th. And as we show you, page 1 of the leaderboard, So Yan with a 64 matches her low round of the year. There is Herbin, who parred the 18th and joined Salas with a 66. Germany's Caroline Masson with a 67. Sophia Popov, a teammate of Annie Parks at USC. We're on a national championship team together, maybe inspired by her former teammate, whom we'll see in our coverage today. There's Aria. The beat just continues to go on for a player who has a chance to reclaim the #1 spot in the world rankings. Judy and I are joined here at Blythe Field today by Tom Abbott, and on the course, Jerry Foltz and Karen Stupples. 5 par 5s, 5 par 3s. This is the 12th, and this is young American Angel Yen.
Very short par 3. The green is perched way up high. You don't really see the surface of the green, and she may not know how good that is.
Short par 3, long young American player, Angel Yen. To the 10th. This is Moria Tanagarn, and Michelle Lee and Pernilla Lindberg are watching, and Jerry Foltz is following this marquee group. Hello, Jerry.
Hello, Grant, and I would be shocked if we see one of these 3 players putting for birdie this hole. Moria probably with the toughest stance, and no real chance unless she somehow can get a lot of club on this and hit a big snap hook out of the sand, which I don't even think is the plan.
90 maximum, yeah, it's good.
She's got to go with a lot of loft, doesn't she, Jerry, or am I wrong?
No, to get it over that lip that her left foot is standing upon, unless she wanted to try and swing it right at that and hook it, wouldn't be advised. Yeah, just trying to get it back out to the fairway and does that nicely.
She's pretty good at taking her medicine. She makes few mistakes, but when she does, she doesn't usually try to be terribly heroic. She tries to, do it the way you're seeing it right here.
This may call for some heroism. Michelle Wee.
She has to hit it below a tree branch. She's actually lower than where her golf ball is sitting. So she has to hit this ball downhill and carry it about 150 yards over a bunker and then somehow get it to slow down. Pulled it a little bit, and that's going to be a bad angle for the up and down.
Yeah, if you're just learning the game or trying to learn shots, I will tell you the very low cut is very difficult. The very low hook is pretty easy.
I speak from experience. Brianna Doe at the 18th. And the UCLA Bruin leads just a bit short. 4 under par, 68 though. Nice start.
It is a gorgeous day.
82 degrees. Not a lot of wind to speak of as we go back to the 10th. And Lindbergh.
The best chance of perhaps getting it on the green, but a very, very small chance at that. Also has to keep this extremely low, and if anything, try and get it to bend a little right. As Judy said, tough shot to hit. Got the low part down. This 2 left, and also going to be a very similar, difficult up and down as Michelle's.
First hole of the day for that marquee grouping. Kelly Shawn working on her low round of the season. So Yan Yu, major champion twice, leads it by 2.
Hello, I'm Rick Keys, President and CEO of Meijer, a Grand Rapids, Michigan-based retailer with more than 235 supercenters throughout the Midwest. As a privately owned and family-run company, we were built on 2 core principles: be a good neighbor and help our communities become better places to live, work, and play. We are very excited to bring the world's best golfers back for our 5th annual Meijer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. But this is more than a golf tournament. It's an opportunity for the entire community to come together and feed our hungry neighbors through the Meijer Simply Give program. Thanks to incredible community support, our previous 4 tournaments generated more than $3.1 million for food pantries across the Midwest. We look forward to making an even bigger impact this year. On behalf of Meijer, I'd like to thank the LPGA, the volunteers, tournament staff, our food pantry partners, and our sponsors, along with the great team at Blythefield Country Club, who helped make this another fantastic event. Now, let's get back to the tournament.
Rick, thank you, and thanks to Meijer for all you do for this event, but also for what you do to feed our fellow Americans who desperately need help. Now, the Grand Taste, always one of the favorites here, Tom, as we go to the 11th.
Paula Creamer for a birdie. Oh, just needed a little bit more mustard on that one. 2 pars to start for Paula, who had a decent week last week, looking to kickstart her 2018 season. While we have a moment, let's head up to the booth at the 80.
With the Hall of Fame member Judy Rankin, Grant Boone, great to be back at Blythe Field. We're at the halfway point of the 2018 season, the 16th of 32 official money events, and it's great to be back here in Western Michigan. Judy, when you look at this event, the first 4 playings, and you look at this golf course, we had the shortest course on tour last week in Atlantic City, one of the longer ones here. What jumps out at you when you see the winners?
Well, the course measures over 6,600 yards, and you know, it's pretty lush and green, so that's not you know, fast and firm 6,600 yards. So what I see when I look back at who has played well here and who has won is I see players who hit it pretty far off the tee. Miriam Lee, Lexi Thompson, Se-Young Kim, Brooke Henderson, and a few more that were contenders here. For instance, Michelle Wee, for instance, Carlota Saganda, all big hitters. And it might be a little bit hard to say exactly why that is, but I can say why it should be this year. It's been extended to be 5 par 5s. If you play by the book, that should favor all the big hitters.
This is a tough par 4, and it's Moria at the 10th for par. So her first hole of the tournament will be a bogey. Last week in Atlantic City, young 23-year-old American Annie Park broke through for her first victory in her 50th start. And Judy, as we look at this year's winners, of the 15 winners, 4 of them are Americans. That ties the Republic of Korea for the most. You think about the U.S. defending Solheim Cup champions, defending UL International Crown champions. Not bad days for U.S. players.
No, it is not bad days for U.S. players, and they did suffer kind of a dry spell just a few years ago, and a lot of people were saying, where are the U.S. players? And I don't know if they were more hurt by it or if they were more inspired by it, but I think we can surely say they are back right now. All these are winners this year, and in the case of Annie Park, there isn't a player who could not tell you that their first win was so important.
We'll see Annie in our coverage. Michelle Wee, it wasn't her first victory, Jerry, but first win since 2014 earlier this year.
Yes, it was, and we all keep hoping that means good things for her because we love when she plays well. She's a fun player to cover, and the crowd show up in droves when she's in contention. Right now, though, faced with a good 20 feet downhill, double breaker for par, had no chance to get the third shot close from short left of the green.
Well, it's easy enough to say, and we say it all the time, but all of this was caused by poor tee shots for all 3 players.
Up ahead to the 11th.
Here is Annie Park, the third to the par 5.
And Tom, she's just been a little bit out of position on the first hole, on the 10th hole on the course, and this one too. Started with a bogey.
Bit of a nervy start, Karen, for Annie Park in the spotlight this week, of course, as Grant and Judy mentioned, coming off that victory last week. As we go back to number 10.
Let's see if Lindbergh can be the only member of the group to get a par here.
Boy, she's made a few of this length and shorter this year. Certainly made every one of them at the ANA. This one turning left at the very end. It goes back uphill. Easy to leave this short.
Misread or what, but did not give herself a chance.
You said second toughest hole on the course on a day that has been very good for scoring. 71.2 is the average.
Lydia Ko, Karen, here with her third at 11.
And this should be in Lydia Ko's wheelhouse. Very good with these wedges. It does slope a little bit down to the hole when the ball lands on the green.
Good shot.
They moved the tee back at the 11th this year. They've lengthened the hole on the card. It's gone back about 25 or so yards, so it's a proper 3-shotter now. Nelly Corder has a little more length than the other two. Karen, so a shorter shot.
I'd say just over about 45. I feel like it'll spin. It's kind of like hers, it's, you know, a little into the wind still.
And she's got a really good angle to attack this whole location. And if you've wondered why we haven't really seen Nelly that much this year on top of our leaderboards, because it's a position that we expect her to be in, it's because she's been quite sick. She's had a very bad stomach bug, something that she's been fighting since January. Oh! And she's only just now starting to feel like her energy is coming back. Every week she's been struggling with it.
Well, that is interesting news from Nelly Corder as we take a look at that replay there, and a bit of luck.
Yeah, it certainly helped her, and if someone can kind of identify where the other ball is, I believe it'll be replaced.
Up ahead to the 12th, Danielle Kang, rough start, bogey, bogey. Uphill par 3.
Straight uphill. And once again, players do not see the surface of the green, so they rely on those behind the green who receive the shot to let them know if it was really good.
Good chance to get a shot back for Danielle. What a day for So-Yeon Yu. Not bad for Kelly Shawn either. Today's coverage is brought to you by the Meijer LPGA Classic for Simply Give, CME Group, how the world advances, and by Win Grips, the best grips in golf.
Annie Park with a long par putt. Not a good bunker shot here from Annie Park.
No, really not very good. Caught it very clean from that bunker, and this is going to still leave her some work.
Wow, so she is in danger of starting bogey, double bogey. This is Kelly Shawn with her second at the 9th. Finishing hole for Kelly today. She just made an eagle on her 17th hole, and she's just one shot back. And that could be a birdie finish for Kelly, playing her 4th year on the LPGA Tour, as we go back over to the 11th, where Nelly Corder has this to get to 1 under.
Pretty much straight back up the hill, Tom. Left a birdie putt short on the first as well, just not getting the ball quite to the hole so far today.
4 missed cuts since that second place finish in Singapore back at the beginning of March. As you mentioned, she's struggled with illness, Karen.
She's been on quite a heavy dose of antibiotics, Tom, just recently, trying to clear up a bacterial infection in her stomach, and she really has struggled with it, just totally lacking energy when she's playing golf. And it's no fun to play golf when you're struggling and you're tired and just feeling very rough indeed.
Just her 8th start since that second place finish in March.
Lydia replaced her ball. Says she's gained 3 miles an hour of clubhead speed with her driver. That almost equates to about 10 yards. Of course, driving the ball well doesn't help if you're not going to make the putt.
Yeah, whatever she gained in clubhead speed, she has lost in weight. She is as thin as I have ever seen her, and I think at some point you need a little physical cushion to work as hard as you have to work traveling and playing the tour.
It's been a tough season for Kelly Schon. She's 141st in the race to the CME Globe, but she's turned her fortunes around today with this performance, and this to cap off an 8 under par day. What a round of golf for Kelly, just one off her lowest on the LPGA Tour.
Boy, and what a satisfying finish.
Her best finish of the year, 42nd in Los Angeles. But she leads at the Meijer LPGA Classic after a 64, tied with So-Yeon Yu.
Danielle Kang, a major champion. Later this month, she will defend the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, and she goes bogey, bogey, birdie.
It's becoming clear to me early in the day that I'm going to have to go shopping for socks.
Apparently so.
You noticing a new look here?
It's a trend, yes. 11.
We'll get you some socks sent over. This is Annie Park for bogey. Bad start, Karen.
She's been struggling a bit. It's quite a shock to the system when all of a sudden you win and you have all that media attention that you have to go through.
And let's show you where we are here. Back in Michigan for the second time in a month. We were over on the eastern part of the state near Detroit and Ann Arbor. We're over in Grand Rapids here, second largest city in the Great Lakes state. Let's zoom in a little closer and we find Grand Rapids. And then just to the northeast, Blythefield Country Club. Whole course having its anniversary today. It opened on June 14th, 1929. And here is a look brought to you by the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. Par 72 this year. You'll note that the first 4 playings it was a par 71. And the last 2 rounds of last year, it had to play as a par 69 because the 5th hole fairway was underwater. And they made that par 5 into a par 3.
So now you have to throw out all the scoring records, and we're just going to start from scratch this year.
Let's start from scratch.
See if we can beat up a par 72.
To 12, and Lydia Ko. That's good.
And as Judy said just a little bit ago, this hole does play very much uphill. You cannot see the bottom of the flag, just about see the front edge of the green from this tee. A little bit back into the wind.
Likes the look of it, and that's why. We had 11 holes in one through the first 14 events of the year, then had 4 last week at the shop right.
It's 20.
So it's back there.
Things on 11.
Keep it here for Nelly.
Pins on 11.
Yes, it is. You got it.
This is such a beautiful golf swing from a very tall player.
It really is, Judy. It's one that you could stand on the range and watch all day long. Both her and her sister Jessica both have tremendous golf swings.
Shot.
Okay.
I'd like to take a swing like that and put it on some kind of loop in a very young person, like a 2 or 3-year-old person's bedroom, and see if maybe they swung the club that way the first time they ever had one in their hand.
Mind games. Can I just do that now? Watch that golf swing over and over again. As we watch the shall we?
You
That
may.
was her lengthy third at 11, Tom, from 157, and that's going to be a really tough par as well.
What happened off the tee?
Big tee shot to the left in the trees way back there. And a good one to get to the 157, but this is a tough hole today into the breeze.
At the 18th, Sweden's Caroline Hedwall in the final grouping of the morning wave. She birdies her last 2 holes and shoots 68. She's battled some health issues this year. Kelly Shawn, maybe a little Long Island love. Fellow Long Islander Annie Park won on Sunday the U.S. Men's Open on Long Island this week. Shawn and Soyeon Yu matching 64s. Tough start for last week's winner, Annie Park. 3 over through her first 2 holes. Here she is at 12, Karen.
And Grant, it's never too late to start your round off again. And this is a very good looking shot.
That'll work.
Went from 126 straight up. Beautiful little shot.
That for birdie for Annie as we go back to the 11th.
And a third shot for Mori Jutanaga.
Good layup to here, just about 60 yards. Gonna land on a little bit of a downslope, so you gotta judge for that. And she has.
Chance to get it back to level par after the opening bogey. And back up to the 12th.
And a birdie putt for Lydia Ko.
And a good opportunity to start to get into red numbers. Everybody else on the scoreboard doing well.
She's just not hitting putts exactly the right speed for the line she's choosing. She drives it through what she saw as a little bit of break right there. And I think when her putting was really spot on, she had that great sense of speed and slope where the ball just dropped in the hole from any side.
11.
Vanilla Lindberg. This putt for birdie.
trying to make up for that opening bogey at the difficult 10th. And as you guys have mentioned, this hole lengthened quite a bit. Probably not a two-shot par 5 unless it gets to be down breeze for many people in the field. So Pernilla played a nice layup and then a good wedge to here. Somehow magically made it dance on that downhill slope and stay short of the hole location. So this putt just a little bit downhill.
I think these greens are very manageable because there are very few spots in these greens where you have to be really careful. It doesn't look like the ball is going to get away from you a lot.
Nelly Korda at the 12th for birdie.
Annie Park did make her birdie already, and now Korda doing the same.
All right, so par, birdie. As we go back to the 11th.
Mario just trying to figure out the line on this putt. Is there much break in this, Jerry?
I thought when I first looked at it, it was just about left edge, maybe a little inside that. But Judy, to get back to your point, I think this week is the shortest local rule sheet we've ever seen. It simply is one rule that has to do with dropping from a camera tower. The course is immaculate, and I think these greens are going to see a lot of putts dropping in because they're in such good shape and they're not a threatening speed.
Yeah, you're right, Jerry. The superintendent and his staff really should be congratulated with the work they've done, and I guess thanks to the state of Michigan for this beautiful lush green.
5th year that the LPGA has played here at the Meijer LPGA Classic at Blythe Field, and the staff here presenting the course better and better every year. I'm sure they learn a little more each year that goes by with presenting the tournament, and it certainly shows with the way that the course has been shown this year.
Moria's sister Aria won the U.S. Women's Open. The Men's U.S. Open is underway, and we've got live from Shinnecock Hills, the 118th playing. And when play concludes tonight, Rich Lerner will anchor our coverage from Shinnecock. You've been there. You covered.
I have been there. It was the second ever Men's Open that I did on the ground, and I was actually with Raymond Floyd in 1986 on that Sunday.
Now Michelle Wie, U.S. Women's Open champion.
4 feet away, and this for par. Turning just a little bit left. Got a good read from Moria's putt from the opposite side of the hole.
Now, I would have said that putter was not lined up with the line.
The putter was not lined up with the line on the putter was not lined up with the line on the golf ball, and she had it set up playing at least 2.5 or more inches of break. So I really don't know what she saw.
I was thinking that it might have just been the angle, or maybe the way we were seeing it.
We had a great camera view, and there is that camera view, and you can see if you have a line on your golf ball and a line on your putter, they should match up pretty well.
It looks like it's pointing about 10 degrees right of that line.
And that would be the alignment for a really big sloping putt.
Well, she shouldn't be annoyed because she hit it exactly where she was aiming.
I think she would just really scratch her head if she could see this replay.
We'll walk up the hill to the tee at 12.
A pair of 64s, Kelly Shawn just a moment ago, and earlier So Yeon Yu matching her low round of the season, and when she finished up, she was met by Karen Stupples.
So Yeon, great round of golf today, 8 under par. And I think everything was really clicking for you in terms of your ball striking. What really, in your week off, were you working on to make that happen?
Well, actually, if I look back on my whole season, it was really a matter of putting. Like, when I have a really good round, putting was work. And when I have a bad round, putting wasn't work. I think long game has been really consistent. And then I've been working really hard with my coach. And then we've been really focused on speed control on the green. And then it finally paid off today.
Was there anything in particular with that speed control that he made you focus on more on with that practice?
Well, it's so obvious answer, but just focus on line and just focus on starting straight and then speed. But well, actually, I realized when I read a break, I just read a little less, and I just like to smash it. So right now I'm just kind of adjust it a little bit, read a line a little bit higher than having right amount of speed.
You've had some top tens here in the past. Do you think that this round of 8 under is going to give you a better chance to win this week?
I hope so. To be honest, if I talk about this season, I'm not really fully satisfied with it. So hopefully this week it's gonna be start to playing really well. Then hopefully I can win this tournament.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, 30 putts today for So Yeon-Yu, but she hit all 18 greens in regulation. So 34 shots and 30 putts, 64.
Players work to hit 18 greens in a round, because then you're prepared to shoot really great numbers.
Looking at Moria Chatanagarn from high above the 12th, Jerry.
Held that finish for a long time. Pretty much center of the green. A hole that you can't see the bottom of the flag stick.
Another par 3, the 14th. Angel Yin nearly aced the 12th earlier. Powerful young player. A lot of promise. 19 years old, second year, already a member of the Solheim Cup team last year, and back at the 12th for Pernilla Lindberg.
This plays a good, probably 5 yards uphill into a little breeze from the left. It's an uncomfortable wind, especially with the left hole location, but it is still only 126 yards. Started off well, right. Not coming back.
How much is that pin from the left edge?
What's that?
How much is that pin from the left edge?
They had 1 to 13.
Paula Creamer for birdie. Paula had a good couple of rounds early last week, but 72 on the final day fell away as we go back to the tee at 12.
Michelle Wee, tough start.
Yeah, very scratchy ball striking thus far. That 2 started right at where she wanted it, fading a little bit as well. It's a little sketchy right now, Judy.
Yeah, and that might be just up against the edge of the rough. Could be a tough spot. We'll see.
Pair of 64s on the board. So Yeon-Yu and American Kelly Shan, they lead the Meijer.
13th hole, dogleg from left to right. Co's second shot.
That's from just about the perfect spot in the middle of the fairway. This one just fading to the hole.
Oh, just needs to climb up onto that upper tier. No, it's going to go back down. Very close to being a sure birdie putt there for Co. She's going to have to deal with that ridge. Not a huge ridge in the green, but obviously, as you can see, brought the ball back. And we'll go over to that 14th tee.
Paula Creamer.
156 yards. Hole short of the center. Solid, safe.
5 par 3s here, 5 par 5s, 8 par 5s. To 12, and Michelle Wee second shot at this other par 3 on the back.
Well, she got relief standing on an obstruction, so we got 1 club length relief, a little bit of room between the ball and the primary cutter rough, so this is an easier shot. I thought she'd putt it. She is chipping it. Pernilla Lindberg putted her birdie effort from off the back right edge down to about 4 feet. And that's about what's going to be left here. That's more like 6, 7 feet.
Not a very good play. I don't know if it was the decision or not, but not a good result.
11.
There are 3 amateur invitees in the field this week. This is Jacqueline Lee, a rising senior at Ohio State. She finished tied for 5th at the NCAA Championships in the individual portion and broke the school's scoring average for the season. So here's a little bio on Jacqueline Lee, who is Canadian from Calgary, Alberta.
Maybe a chance we will see her later in the summer when we are in the more western part of Canada.
Yes, she played in the CP Women's Open last year. Did Jacqueline miss the cut? We're heading to Regina, Saskatchewan. In about 2 months' time, we're heading out into the countryside.
At the 12th, Moria Tanagarn for birdie.
This one's just a little bit uphill. I think it's a little slower than the players see because both their fellow competitors left their approach shots well short. I got there just a little wide.
Bit unnerving, isn't it, when you step onto the first tee and you're 8 shots back?
You know, that's such a part of professional golf these days with the morning and afternoon split times on Thursday and Friday. Women's golf, men's golf, wherever. You got to face that leaderboard sometimes before you've even changed your shoes.
News and notes, Team USA reclaimed the Curtis Cup, a record-breaking blowout over at Quaker Ridge in the metropolitan New York area, 17-3. American Kristen Gilman went 5-0-0. She played in the U.S. Women's Open the week before. Brittany Lincecum is going to become the 5th female in history to compete in a PGA Tour event. She'll play in the Barbasol the week of the Open. And we're back at the 12th, and Pernilla Lindberg for par.
Just to avoid going 2 over through the first 3 when you, oh my, you look up on that leaderboard like you mentioned, Gray, you see 8 under and all those other good scores and you think this course must be playing easy. The next thing you know, you're a couple over early and you really feel like it's an uphill battle.
Yeah, but some of the mistakes we have seen are truly mistakes, aren't they, Jerry? This is, it's not that it's world-class difficult.
No.
13.
Lydia Ko for birdie.
And as Judy said, it is quite a tricky putt. Up a little tier in the green.
Right idea.
All pars so far for Lydia. 4th hole of the day. 10th in the race to the CME Globe, the season-long race on the LPGA Tour.
And at the 12th, Michelle Wee for par. Couldn't see if she had her putter and lined her ball lined up on that one, but another mistake. Michelle Wee. 11 shots back, and she's about, what, 25 minutes into her opening round. 13.
And he parked with a putt for a par.
Yeah, just struggling, Tom. Just hit her tee shot left, was blocked out by a tree, pitched up short right in the rough, and hit a third shot to here. And this is no bargain either.
Well, the mistake, Karen's going right off the tee. You just can't do that.
No, she actually went through left.
Oh, sorry.
Blocked out by the trees there.
9th hole of the day for Mina Haragai. In fact, she's in the first grouping off the 10th tee. So it's possible to go out there in the afternoon wave and put a good score together. Though she's not quite done yet there at the 18th. 13.
Nelly Corder for a birdie.
And really set up, Tom, by an absolutely smashed drive. Only had 118 to the hole.
Great look there for Nelly to get to 2 under par, but she's going to make another par. Opening round of the Meijer LPGA Classic at Blythefield Country Club. Grand Rapids, Michigan. 64 leads the way.
Par 3 14th, it's Paula Creamer, 5th hole of the day. She couldn't stand to watch the whole thing. Turned away.
So did I.
Yeah. Let's go to the 16th. And this is the brutally tough par 4 that's now a par 5, and Jackie Concolino, 4th eagle of the season. Three under after 7. At the 12th, this is Jacqueline Lee for back-to-back birdies as Team Diaz looks on. Laura Diaz and her son Cooper caddying again this week. Ahead to the 14th and the par putt for Paula.
once again, if you were right behind the player, and we weren't exactly right behind her, but I'm going to bet that she rolled the ball exactly where she set it up.
That's enough to get the dauber down. Back we go to 12th, and there they are. Twice an LPGA Tour winner, Laura Diaz's son, Cooper, caddy. He caddies last week. She made the cut. So he essentially makes the cut and gets to come back for another week.
Maybe he was congratulating her that she got to come back for another week.
Extended vacation. He said his dad, Kevin, Laura's husband, was suggesting that he ask Mom for 70% of the winnings. He said, I know it's normally 10% for a victory. I'm angling for 70%. He's 12 years old.
Maybe Kevin's trying to teach him how to be an agent.
Maybe.
I tell you, it's tough to be away from competition for a long time and come back and get into the mix, and she certainly did that last week, and that has to give her a little boost to do it this week.
Just her second event. 13.
Michelle Wee's second.
139 to the hole. Actually clipped a few leaves off the trees just off the tee box. Avoided disaster by getting through it. And that was much more of a quality shot than we've seen thus far. Still doesn't get up to the top tier.
We have Kim Kaufman for birdie at the 12th.
Good birdie.
Well, let's find out more about former Texas Tech Red Raider Kim Kaufman with her caddy Audrey Gertis on this week's edition of Caddy Knows Best, presented by National Car Rental.
Caddy Knows Best with fifth-year LPGA player Kim Kaufman and her caddy for the last 3, Audrey Gertis. Are you guys ready for this? They've been practicing?
We've been practicing.
10 specially crafted questions just for you two. 1 minute to answer as many as you can. Clock starts when I get done asking the first question. Kim, what is one word used to describe your demeanor on the course?
Happy.
She said calm. Very good.
Oh, yeah.
And one word used to describe Audrey's demeanor on the course.
Ooh. Patient?
She said calm. I don't know. We'll go to the judges on that one. That's pretty
really
close.
Calm.
I know. Double on the calm. Okay, what is the population of your hometown of Clark, South Dakota?
1,200 people.
1,200, that's what she said. Eventually in the wind when she gets to it, 1,200. Actual population according to the census, 1,139.
Oh, we round up.
You like to go to concerts? What's the best one you've ever been to?
Coldplay.
Ed Sheeran.
We talked about this. We practiced this question.
What is your fondest memory from your days at Texas Tech?
Playing the national championship.
Oh, she said fuzzies, which I assume has something to do with tacos and margaritas.
Oh, God.
Who would be your celebrity crush?
Ooh. Matt Damon.
Mark Wahlberg. We're in the same time.
That's my second. I mean, it's like a toss-up.
That counts. You're out of time, but we got to go to 2 more questions. The very next one, which PGA Tour player would you most want to play around with?
Ooh, I gotta play with Smiley.
Smiley, you got the bonus question.
I mean,
Kaufman and Kaufman, no relation.
Yeah, no relation.
I'm sure he would say the same, actually.
I'm sure he would.
Go to the very last answer if you can. The biggest event of any type, sporting, entertainment, what have you, that you've ever attended in your home state of South Dakota. Audrey's
probably like
frantically trying to find it.
High school state football championship.
She couldn't guess anything. We went with rodeo.
That would. That's a hard one. Yeah, state football championship. We did not win, but it was a great time.
Awesome. Good job, you two. Nice job with the cards and the win.
Yeah. Coldplay. I really was like, she's got this one.
That was like a 2-card win that Audrey had to negotiate there. Caddy Knows Best, presented by National Car Rental. You know her. Your son and his family live in Lubbock?
Yeah, that's right. I come from a family, everybody's a Texas Tech fan or went to Texas Tech, and Kim Kaufman was just a most wonderful player for Texas Tech University. She is calm, and she's an extremely nice young woman. She's one of those I would encourage people, hope you draw her in a Pro-Am.
On the tee at 14, Lydia Ko.
Hole location tucked on the right side today. Lydia going with a 7-iron. Very little wind in this corner. This is starting a bit left, but it's trying to fade.
Pretty good.
14 is the fourth toughest hole today. 15 is the toughest. Didn't look very tough for So-Yeon Yu and Kelly Shawn. Morning Wave both shot 64. They lead it by 2. Golf Channel and the LPGA Tour welcome you back to Western Michigan, Grand Rapids, and round 1 of the Meijer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Grant Boone, Judy Rankin, Tom Abbott, Jerry Foltz, Karen Stupples. Some good scores in the morning. None better than So-Yeon Yu at the 17th for birdie. Needed 30 putts in that round of 64. Kelly Shawn playing in the final grouping in the morning wave finished up with a 64 of her own thanks to that birdie at the 9th. So from opposite tees, 1 on 1, 1 on 10, they both shoot 64. Celine Herbin from France, who played so well last week at the ShopRite, follows it up with a 66, some really good score. Scoring average is almost a stroke under par, but we've already seen some in the afternoon wave get off to tough starts, including Michelle Wie. 13, Tom?
Yeah, needs a birdie this to get back to 2 over.
Yeah, just her 4th hole of the day and really needed this one. Not to be, that's well off to the right.
Whoa, that's a wide. Maybe a few alignment problems for Michelle from what we've seen so far as we go back 1 to the 12th.
And Lydia Ko, Karen, with a couple of good looks early that she couldn't convert.
And I agree with Judy that she just looks like she's just wanting to hit the putts a little too much from the backstroke. There's not a great deal of time for transition. It's not as patient a stroke as we're used to seeing her make.
Yeah, and she has a very patient golf swing, doesn't she?
She does. And Judy, I wonder, you know, with the speeding up of the swing, if it's kind of working through into her short game with the putting as well.
Maybe so, but as the afternoon goes on, let's just look at the rhythm of her golf swing. There's something sort of, I don't know, it kind of mesmerizes me. It's a rhythm you would love to be able to repeat.
Back 1 to 13.
Maria Jutanagarn to a nice approach. As this for birdie.
She has a very nice approach to here. Taking a good long time trying to sense what kind of slope is here. I don't see much. Pernilla Lindbergh, the other fellow competitor in this group, ran into a lot of trouble, Tom, over the green in 2, and then got ugly from there. Ended up with a double bogey 6.
Nicely done. Pretty impressive to have 2 sisters at 1 and 2 in the race to the CME Globe. And in the world rankings, there's been a big change for Moria this year. She's inside the top 10 in the world. Her sister is 2nd, challenging Imby Park for that top spot. Aria, of course, has already been the world #1. She would like to go back to the top spot. Lexi Thompson, there has to be a time, Judy, where she becomes a world #1 if you look at how much talent she had.
Yeah, you have to believe that that's going to be one of these seasons. I don't know just when, but if she, it seems as though that should happen if she just doesn't get in her own way.
Nelly Korda at 14.
And that was a good-looking stroke.
It was. It looked like it wiggled oddly.
Putt was on its way to the hole and turned the opposite direction. You would probably not see that in the putt until you had seen it in the putt.
Strange. Well, Lexi Thompson is at it again here at Blythefield. She is now 51 under par in her last 13 rounds here. She has a victory and a couple of other top 4 finishes. Had a great chance to win last year. Lost the lead on Sunday. Caitlin Dambaugh, lefty, with a 68. That Morgan Pressel and Angela Stanford, a couple of U.S. Solheim Cup players. And Sakura Yokomine, we saw her threaten 59 on Sunday at ShopRite, and she backs it up with a nice round.
Yeah, I had a great week last week, and maybe looking for back-to-back.
You always look at players. Danny Holmquist, 65, there at the ShopRite. Could that foretell perhaps some good play down the road? Sometimes it's not like Sarah Jane Smith, for example. Had a good run at Volvic. The overall finish wasn't what she hoped for, but she turned that into a really good week at the U.S. Women's Open. All right, a couple of aces last year from Moria Jutanagarn, and if anyone makes an ace here, they'll take home a 2019 Kia Sorento, available in 5 trim levels, and all of them are nice.
Well, holes in 1 haven't been that rare yet this week, Grant. More on that in a minute, but this is 7-iron for Moria Jutanagarn, and I'd be really shocked if anybody gets one really close to this whole location today, tucked in there on the downslope, just over that right front portion of the green. Oh well, I might stand corrected. Oh, that was right on line too.
Wow, such a good-looking swing.
You see the
Well, as Jerry said,
little gap?
we've already seen some greatness here. In the Pro-Am yesterday, Daniel Gannon made a hole-in-one on this 14th. He won a Kia Sorento, got tweeted by the LPGA, and how did he follow it up? A few holes later, he made another hole-in-one at the 6th hole. And how did he react after that one went in? He took the plunge. Here he goes. Julieta Granada's mother and caddy, I think they've given him the proper club. It won at 12,000 to 1 to make an ace, 67 million to 1 to make 2 aces in 1 round.
They were both with a 9-iron.
There you go.
And I got to speak to Daniel yesterday, and he was kind of beside himself.
No relation to our Terry, right?
That's right.
He was on his way to buy lottery tickets.
Let's see. Michelle Wee on the green.
Okay.
Let's go to 15.
This is a dogleg from left to right, as you can see. Nice looking hole, not always an easy hole. Flag today tucked over on the left side of the green. Nice approach by Suo. Bogeyed the first hole of the day, the 10th, all pars since then for the Australian, who's 40th in the race to the CME Globe.
I think she'll have a breakthrough week, something like Annie Park did last week, you know, sometime in the near future, because she is that quality of player.
Focusing on the world rankings a little more over the next 3 weeks as Suo tries to get that to the hole, because the UL Crown qualification is coming to an end for the individual players on the 8 teams. The teams have already been secured, but a number of players guaranteed at 4, but who those 4 will be is not guaranteed just yet. This is the Australian team taken from the world rankings. Just simple, take the top 4 players. Suo and Hannah Green are battling right now for that final spot. Sarah Kemp, I think, is just too far back.
What it looks like right now is that's a pretty strong team, Tom.
Yeah, could be a team to watch. Lydia Ko back on the tee at 15.
She was actually commenting on the guy with the hole-in-ones as well. Just back there on the tee. And that's a nice drive.
Yeah, that word went around the golf course pretty quickly yesterday, Karen.
Just so happened that one of our camera guys was out there and we saw that reaction. They were just there shooting some video of the car and the guy happened to hole it. And they managed to catch him falling on the ground. Then he did it again.
I don't know if they have a fried egg over the Grand Taste Food Pavilion at the 11th, but we may have one here at 14. Moria.
Yeah, brutal break here. Oh, something sounded a little funny there.
Always difficult, isn't it, with a lie like this? Take another look.
I feel like this ball came off the hosel, but yeah,
it may have clipped the upper lip of the bunker there.
Maybe.
Caused it to go right. 15.
Difficult to keep it out of that that grass down the right side here, Karen, because everything kind of rolls away on the fairway.
It is, Tom. It's one of those holes that if you're a long driver off the tee, you can get past all of that and get past the slope that takes you to where Lydia was, and she really didn't have much shot there.
Needs to get that up and down. Jacqueline Lee, the amateur, for the birdie at 13. Yes, nice start. No nerves for Jacqueline. Makes a big difference if you've already played in an LPGA Tour event, especially the CP Women's Open, which is one of the biggest events outside of the majors. It used to be a major, of course.
Especially for her being Canadian. At the 14th, Michelle Wie.
See if she can get one on line here, turning a little left until right at the hole. I believe it'll stop raking there.
Paula Creamer struggled from that side of the green. Well, you kind of have to keep your head down, don't you? Not start reminding yourself on every hole how far back you are. You need to make a good putt and see if you can follow it up with another good shot, don't you?
Some of the putting that we've seen from Michelle so far is hard to wipe from your memory.
15.
Nelly Corder, second.
That's just 91 yards in here. Again, to get to that point, hit just a tremendous drive.
She didn't love it, but it's not bad. It's still an opportunity.
Chance to get to 2 under par. Back over to 14.
And a par putt for Moria Jatanagarn.
Yeah, we assume it's a par, but that had a little sound as though it might have been double hit, but I think that was the sound of the ball ricocheting against the front lip, because nobody reacted like it was double hit, including Moria.
I don't believe that it was double hit.
This went a little downhill. Not much.
Oh, how about that one? So that fried egg went down easy, and she saves her par, even par through 5, which relatively speaking, pretty good. One more look. Watch the ball off the front lip. Boink. There it goes to the right.
I think I'm going to give you a yes on this one. I think it did hit that lip.
15.
Lydia's third.
And the ball is really nestled down. She's got this well forward, weight forward. It's off of a downslope. And this is going to take a lot of skill. Yeah, she was just trying to lob that onto the green. And that was, I would have thought maybe just try and run it through there. She's normally so good from that spot.
Michelle Wie for par. So a head-shaking start for Michelle Wie, but as we look big picture at the halfway point of the 2018 season, you'll see that Michelle Wie is in the top 10 in the race to the CME Globe. The Jatanagarn sisters topping the list, and Area has begun to stretch it out with 2 wins in her last 3 events, including the U.S. Women's Open.
Yeah, I think the U.S. Women's Open.
And a 3 under par 69 this morning for Area. We're watching Sister Moria. 15.
And Annie Park needs a birdie.
She does. Tom, this was the length that she made an absolute ton of last week in Atlantic City. She changed to this method of putting at the start of the year.
Well, she said there's a different perspective for her coming into this week now that she's a winner. And maybe just a little too much of a jolt to the system. Hasn't let it set in yet. I mean, I suppose she says it won't be till the end of the season when she takes some time away and maybe attends the Rolex Awards dinner and gets that official award as a Rolex first-time winner, that it might settle into her. But still a fabulous season, whatever happens the rest of the year. Let's go to 18.
9th hole of the day for Jackie Concolino. 4 under is the low score of those in the afternoon wave, and Jackie is -3 at the moment.
Very aggressive ball striker. Hole 22 paces deep in this green. Pretty good shot. an opportunity.
And again, that was her 9th hole of the day, back to 15.
And this one is back downhill for Nelly to the hole. And you'd expect this one to roll out really quickly.
Oh, it didn't.
Nope.
Try.
Just a moment ago. Now live with Lydia Ko. And Karen, with that 3rd shot, usually she's a really sensible golfer. You know, she makes the right decisions on the golf course. It seems like from what you were saying there with that 3rd shot, it wasn't necessarily the case.
No, it really wasn't to me. When I looked at it, it was sitting quite down in that rough, which meant that, you know, very difficult to get any kind of a club on the ball. But I believe that in her mind she was trying to loft it over the fringe and try and get it to release to the hole. But it was such a soft shot and the grass is so sticky. It just took everything, every ounce of speed out of the club.
It's going to lead to a bogey. She was a little aggressive with that 2nd shot as well. Should drop to 1 over par. Ko, who's had a couple of top 10 finishes, 10th last year, 4th in 2016. So she likes it here at the Meijer.
Well, here's a player at this par 5, 16th, Sue Oh, who contended last week. Had a share of the lead at one point. Sue Oh.
Great shot.
I'll say. Well, the 4 was coveted last year when this was a par 4, toughest hole on the course. She'll have a chance for a 3. A pair of 64s, So Yeon Yu and American Kelly Shawn from the Morning Wave. Par 5, 16th, 3rd shot for Paula Creamer. Okay, so that for birdie to get back to even par for Paula. And back on the tee, Lydia Ko coming off bogey.
Tee shot plays downhill, and now that this is a par 5, really very gettable for all these players.
No.
Doesn't look like a great lie to me.
No. Birdie putt for Jackie Concolino at the 18th, ninth hole of the day.
Just barely turns left, we think. Yes.
Well, Concolino is now tied for the low round of those in the afternoon wave. 2 birdies and that eagle that we saw at the par 5 16th. From a Vanderbilt Commodore. She'll make the backward turn and head to the par 5 first. And we're back at the 16th and an eagle putt for Sue O. We saw Annie Park in San Francisco, made it into the final pairing on Saturday, didn't play very well on the weekend, came back and got the victory last week. So when we see a Sue O or a Celine Herben and they don't get it done one week, you kind of make a note of it and see how they do in the weeks to follow.
Sometimes it's a process. Has it set up outside the hole? Nice putt.
7th eagle of the season for Sue O. Just turned 22 the week of the Volvic here in Michigan, over the other side of the state in Ann Arbor. So from +1 to -1. Michelle Wee in Singapore got her first victory since 2014. Paula Creamer won that event in 2014, looking for her first victory. But this season for Paula, it's a bit of a reboot. New coach and some other new things happening in her life. To get back to even par. Three-putt bogey at 14, missed opportunity at the 16th. Stays +1. Here's a native Michigander, Chris Tumulus, par 3, 12th.
Go in. Oh. Bad luck.
Well, home state advantage, we thought, maybe. Oh.
That hit way too much of the hole not to go in.
Lip out. It's Discovery Land. And fun for the whole family. You can get your hair colored over there if you want. A few of our folks have done that.
How did they come up with the name SpongeBob SquarePants?
We'll investigate. Today's coverage is brought to you by the Symetra Tour, Road to the LPGA, NEC, orchestrating a brighter world, and by Consumer Cellular, where low rates and award-winning service are just the beginning. The Frederick Meijer Gardens and Sculpture Park, one of the nation's premier horticultural display gardens, integrating the experience of striking gardens with fine art. Horticultural displays showcase a beautiful array of plants from around the world. More than 200 works in the permanent collection, both indoors and out. On the campus, which is more than 150 acres wide. The Tropical Conservatory has more than 500 species from 5 continents in a lush setting, which includes waterfalls, streams, and bridges, but no SpongeBob. Judy. Par 5, 16th, and another big tee shot for Nelly Korda.
Yeah, she just has a 7-iron in here, and it's probably one of the best driving displays I've seen. And I've followed a lot of golf. It's just been so impressive, and this is an impressive 7-iron.
It started out looking good.
The club twirl. Sister Jessica leads the LPGA Tour in eagles, and Nelly will have a putt for one of her own.
Another bunker shot for Mario Jutanagan, this time at 15.
Yeah, almost 40 yards after punching out from the trees. That's such a tough shot. So easy to catch it fat or thin, and she played it. I can't tell you how good that is.
Masterclass there from Mario. Short 17th, green sits up high, and it's a very small putting surface. Not always easy to get the ball within 10-15 feet as Angel Yin leaves it right in the jaws. Angel at 1 under par, 2 birdies and a bogey. A little bit inconsistent, Angel Yin at times, but she's got so much firepower. Now Michelle Wee for birdie.
Finally a decent look at one for birdie. Little downhill, little movement from the right, not much.
Three bogeys right out of the gates for Wee. She remains 3 over. Maybe did she go and get a refreshing of the hair color?
Yeah,
in the Discovery Land earlier today. A couple of folks who work with us on the crew went over there. They will remain nameless, but they did get the hair coloring to celebrate the Discovery Land opening.
You'll know them if you see them.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard return to star in the next chapter of one of the most exciting movies in history on a mission to rescue dinosaurs from an extinction-level event. See Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom in theaters June 22nd.
Lindbergh for a birdie.
Similar putt to Michelle's without the amount of break from the right. Equally as much needed for Pernilla.
Oh, shoot. Such a good-looking putt.
This was a moment ago at par 5 16th, the third shot for Lydia Ko, Karen.
And she's been rehearsing the same technique as she used on the last. That one was better contact, but it was such a tough lie. Again, really fluffy, ball sitting down.
A couple of good looks early at 11 and 12 for birdie. Couldn't convert. Now she's 1 over. She'll have that for birdie. We are now live, and we're going to find Annie Park for eagle.
This one should move a smidge left as it approaches the hole. But all these players struggling really to give the ball enough speed on these greens this afternoon.
Now, as you would imagine, she was just pounded with texts and calls and messages. Didn't really get to see the golf course here this week before coming over after that breakthrough victory. 15.
Par putt for Jutanagan.
And Tom, this would be for 2 very improbable pars in a row. Pretty flat putt speed-wise, maybe just inching to the right.
And you get out of jail so many times for free. And Jutanagan will drop to 1 over. So really disappointing with the way that these three players have started the week here. 4 over for Lindbergh, 3 over for Wee. Jutanagan now over par. Remember, 8 under pars leading the tournament as we go to 16.
And this for Nelly Korda for Eagle.
A little bit downhill. This part breaks to the right. That hopped really quick.
Usually not too disappointed walking off a green with a birdie, but I think she thought she had that one. Looked like she did, maybe. As Karen mentioned, a little bit under the weather, and there's that look. Ah, so close. 2 under. Ahead 1 to 17.
Suo second. This is what we were talking about with the approach here at 17. You can see the green sits way up above the fairway. Not a long hole, just 344 on the card. But it can be tricky if that green gets firm to get the ball close. But it's a good shot, good chance for a birdie for Suo.
Up at the 18th, 9th hole of the day for Ashley Buhai, who tied for 7th last week.
She was Ashley Simon when she came here from South Africa to play, and she came with huge credentials and a lot of promise, and she has played some good golf, but still looks to win for the first time.
Now Simon says Buhai married David, who's a caddy himself. At 16, Lydia Ko for birdie.
And this one breaks to the right. Lydia was aiming that way left.
There had been a couple of exceptions, Nelly Korda being one of them, but our marquee groups are not finding their names at the top of the marquee. That spot is being held by So-Yeon Yu and Kelly Sean from the Morning Wave, 64 on the par 72.
Back at the 15th hole with Laura Diaz, 4 times a member of the U.S. Solheim Cup team. Just her second event of the year.
Good shot.
And that is a really nice shot. She's got her son Cooper on the bag, as you mentioned. And Grant was saying that he was interested in a 70% bonus from his mother for caddying. I'm not so sure he's going to get it if she has to rake the bunkers. That's usually the caddy's job. Sometimes a player will do it if a caddy has other duties, but I'm not so sure Cooper has much else to do right now.
Yeah. Summer job.
But she rakes a good bunker, does Laura Diaz. But you know what? I bet she's loving the fact that her son is on the bag.
Can I just tell a very quick story, which only one time did my son caddy for me. And on this particular Sunday, I started playing really well. It was in Dallas, and it was so hot, I cannot tell you. It was over 100 degrees. And I was going up the 16th hole, and I was kind of starting to weave a little bit, and I was 5 under par, and my little 14-year-old looked at me, and he said, "Don't you quit on me now."
Does this have that little white thing there on the fence?
All right, here is Michelle. She could use a good shot here.
She could indeed. I have her at 193 yards, 196 yards, excuse me. A little bit of breeze helping. First cut of rough might come out a little hot. Going with 6 iron. Sounded a little thin. Needs to really run up the hard pound of that fairway just short of the green. And it is.
Okay. Needs a jolt. Something to get her opening round started. She's 11 shots behind the co-leaders. She gave everybody a jolt there in Singapore with that last hole putt she drained to 1.
Concolino's made the turn. This is her 10th hole. Par 5. 3 par 5s on the front 9. That was a good try as well. A good look at birdie for Concolino, who's still searching for that first win. She's come close before. To 18.
And second shot for Angel Yen, her 9th hole of the day. You talk to other caddies who've played with her and they'll say, wow, this is a really talented player, and it's going to be sooner rather than later when she wins it.
Yeah.
Birdie putt for Sue O, looking for a 3-3-3 finish.
2 top 5s in the last 3 starts in a very solid U.S. Open. She is really playing well, so I don't think anything right now should surprise us.
Eagle birdie at 16 and 17 for Suo. Remember, this is her first 9 of the day. Watching the afternoon wave, the featured groups teeing off the 10th.
And back at the 18th, Angel Yin.
You know, not only was it good for Angel Yin to get her game going and play well, but it's good for everybody who likes the game and good for the LPGA, because she is a really interesting and fun personality.
It's for a 2 under par first 9. Talent is one thing. You still have to figure out how to get it around the golf course and get it in and work your way up a leaderboard. Promising young second-year player, Angel Yin. Eagle attempt at the par 5 16th from Michelle Wee.
Putting it from just short of the green, up over the hill, turning a little right. Pretty slow putt. Holding her finish, though. She might like it.
No, 5 feet. 5 feet more was needed.
Talking to herself as we go to 17.
This should be bread and butter for Lydia here at the 17th, Karen.
It should be just 88 yards off of a slight downslope. This ball coming in quite flat.
Yeah, that's really nice.
We're at the par 3 second hole. Jackie Concalino.
150 yards. Almost.
She is tied for the low score among those in the afternoon wave. A couple of 64s this morning. But Mariah Stackhouse sure did play well last week at the ShopRite. She was playing with Annie Park in that final group, and here's her 9th hole of the day. Yes, just enough. Talk about the transition from the amateur game to the professional game. You were mentioning Angel Yin.
Yeah, it is. It's difficult, and when you were as a college player, you were so celebrated, and now you come on this tour where everyone is so celebrated, or has been.
Angel's just college age, 19. Moria and Arya Jatanagarn, Jerry, they opted to not go the collegiate route, as so many of the international players do.
Yeah, and I'm not sure either one of them, they're a banker, as Judy likes to say, would argue with them right now. They've done pretty well. But
by a college.
It is funny now when NCAA is such a big part of our program, and we love it. It's the best drama of the year when we cover the national championships, and now many of those coaches recruit from out of the country now. So many international players play in collegiate golf, and you know, it's one thing if you think you're good enough to come out here and play professionally quickly, but it's another thing to have that degree to fall back on.
Or you can do what Michelle Wee did. You can come out and play and then go back and get your degree.
Exactly. You can't overstate that accomplishment enough. Moria, a beautiful 5-iron from 194 yards, hit a little fade, looked like it had a chance for an albatross, released to here, maybe just a right edge putt.
Pernilla Lindberg in your picture there. She's from Sweden, went to Oklahoma State. Two-putt birdie for Moria, back to even par. Sister Arya this morning shot 69. 17.
Annie Park for a birdie.
And has to judge the speed right off that fringe.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
That was a bit feisty, wasn't it?
Yeah. She's going to have work to do just to save par on this short par 4, and dangerous of slipping back to 4 over.
Back at 16, Pernilla Lindberg for birdie.
She too had an eagle putt from the left side of the green, had it right on line, but left it this much short. Maybe this hole is just what these players need, if they can all make 4 here and just get a little positive energy in this group, because it's a little lackluster right now, Judy.
I was thinking exactly the same thing, Jerry.
Crowd that was massive on the first hole, the 10th tee, is pretty much about a quarter of that size.
You mentioned some of the media opportunities. Pernilla Lindberg went back for media day for the NCAAs because they were at Stillwater, Karsten Creek, where she played collegiately.
I did not know of anything that Pernilla was asked to do after that victory that she did not accommodate.
Of course, that's part of Michelle Wee's life, isn't it, Jerry? She's always, wherever she plays, no matter how she's playing, she's always probably as in demand as anyone out here.
Well, since her even pre-teen years, this young lady, and I say it all the time because I am a fan, I'm also a commentator, have to remain unbiased when she's on the course, but from her pre-teen years, she has lived in a fishbowl, and she has turned out to be a 28-year-old, very happy, well-adjusted young lady, even facing all the scrutiny she's faced in her career, and I can't say enough about the quality of character she possesses.
It's been that kind of a day, even having trouble getting the ball out of the hole, but she does make birdie as we go to 17.
And Lydia Ko to get back to even par.
And it really, to me, Tom, appears like Lydia's just working really hard all day, working on swings, trying to be a little bit more mechanical than I'm used to seeing her. But it worked that
time. Working with Ted O, who, from what we've seen, would be more of a kind of a player coach rather than a technical coach. I mean, Ted O played pretty high-level golf himself.
133rd career event for Jackie Concolino from just off the green at 2. You get out onto the course for the afternoon wave, you're 8 shots back. So for Concolino, something around 4 under, 5 under par maybe. A nice opening round. What a day for So-Yeon Yu and Kelly Shawn. They lead the way after 64s.
Doesn't matter about this guy.
Eight under par leads, 4 under par is the best score on the course in the afternoon wave. Jackie Concolino up and down from in front of the green. She stays 4 under. Mina Haragai also 4 under. Se-Young Kim 4 under par as well.
It just looks like a 3-wood for Michelle Wie. I know, maybe the driver there.
Yeah, it looks like driver to me. She straightened it out after struggling early, and that one is her 3rd good one in a row.
Getting it over the brow of the hill. Just a little flick into the green now for Michelle.
Well, Tom was calling for a 3-3-3 finish for Sue O. She eagled the par 5 16th, birdied the 17th. Here's her second at 18. Creep onto the front. How do you like her chances, Tom?
Not as good as I maybe had hoped for on the previous hole.
All right, Laura Diaz, second shot at the 16th.
Dad, brother, and husband, all teachers of the game, golf professionals.
She came out on tour as Laura Philo. Dad Ron and brother Ron Jr., PGA professionals. Husband Kevin had and a coach at Wake Forest, where she went to school. Kelly Shawn went to Princeton, first player from Princeton to get an LPGA Tour card. And she aced her first-round test today, 64. Céline Herbin of France is 66 after contending last week. And Se-Young Kim, who had the lead, shot 61 to set the course record Sunday, finishing up her second round Sunday morning at the ShopRite. Had a 2-shot lead going into the final round before struggling just a bit. But back at it, a past winner here a couple of years ago. Came from behind to defeat Lexi Thompson. That's what Brooke Henderson did last year. Nasa Hataoka, she continues to play well.
Yeah, finally, got a really good one under her belt and hasn't stopped. Bronte Law has been impressive.
This is not a Princeton Tigers hat, but a Detroit Tigers cap. Well, here we go. Suo, long one for birdie here at the 18th. 9th hole of the day, off to a good start.
This is when you just want to roll the ball close. If it should happen to fall in, that would be great. But your real goal is to get it in that 3-foot circle around the hole.
Flag is in. She is off the green, so even if it were to hit the flag, there would be no penalty.
Pretty good putt.
17.
Second shot for Moria.
Just 86 yards. This shot you would think should be a pretty easy one, but we've seen just the opposite in years past. You're playing an uphill shot from a downhill line to what is typically a very firm green. Flipped it nicely. It'll skip big and then hopefully stop.
Yeah, it did. Right on cue. Pernilla Lindberg, her brother has come over from Sweden to watch her this week.
17.
Maybe a little disappointed with the start that she's had, but there's still plenty of time. Her brother Patrick.
And they're all hosted by a local doctor, the tournament doctor, on call for any of the players and people associated with the tournament that need help this week. Internal medicine and pediatrician is Doc. I have no idea what his name is, just Doc. This shot's a little tougher because it's 15 yards closer than Moria, so it's just a little bit tougher to generate that amount of spin. 71 yards.
Yeah, she's gripped down on the club just a little bit. Pretty good.
Yes, it's at 70 hole.
And now Michelle Wee.
And I think, I don't want to try and create too much drama over a 69-yard shot, but Michelle's penchant is to bring these in very low, and you just can't do that here with any predictability. But she did it and pulled it off.
Yeah, really good. I said Pernilla's brother's name was Patrick. His real name is Frederick. He's Patrick to his friends.
Interesting.
That's not true. His name is Frederick. I just got it wrong. Her coach is Patrick. Always a good gallery around this 17th. And come Sunday afternoon, there's a good atmosphere here. Folks can go over to the Grand Taste and then wander up to the hill and watch the golf.
Do our credentials get us in?
We hope so. We will find out tomorrow morning.
At the 16th, an eagle putt for Laura Diaz. Still feisty, Judy, all these years later. Said she doesn't have expectations, but when you get out on the golf course, the old juices get flowing, don't they?
Yeah, and certainly if you get something going. 66 in the opening round last week.
About that. At the 18th, a birdie putt for Paula Creamer, her 9th of the day. She's had some chances and converts that one. Well, she had the fans of the 17th with the T-shirts on last week at ShopRite. Hooping and hollering for her to 1.
Angel Yin for a birdie. Right on line, just a little shy. Speed of the greens at 11 to 11.5 on the stimp meter, which is a little below average for the LPGA Tour, but the officials felt like there are a few slopes on these greens that need attention, so they didn't want to go too much higher than that. Now Pernilla Lindberg for a birdie at 17.
Slightly downhill. It'll drop just right at the very end.
Yes, there you go. Fighting her way back.
We're getting a little jolt now from some of these marquee groups. Sue O, eagle, birdie, now this for par. Very solid first 9 holes for the 22-year-old, born in South Korea, moved to Australia when she was 8. We go to the 4th and we find Jackie Concolino, 3rd hole actually, beg your pardon.
And second shot to this par 4. These holes are down on a lower part of the club, down in a sort of a meadow down by the river.
Jackie needs this good round. She has missed the last 2 cuts. Hasn't really earned a check since the middle of May.
Right, Stackhouse at the first, yeah. Took a little break at the US Women's Open, put the clubs away for a week, went back to California, and then returned at the ShopRite last week, and playing this week, of course. Back-to-back birdies there to get it to 2 under. Now Moria Jutanagan for a birdie at 17.
Right on Pernilla's line, so you gotta like her chances here.
You wonder when they come to the end of their playing careers, who will have had a better playing career, Moria or Aria? Aria has struggled with injuries. You never know when the injuries might flare up again for Aria. Moria seems to just plod along.
And Moria is no doubt not as explosive, but much more consistent.
Now Michelle Wheeler, make it 3 birdies for this group.
Yeah, and 6 in 2 holes.
Well, they needed to turn things around.
Much better alignment and a much better putt.
Three fours, 3 threes. All birdies at 16 and 17. It is the opening round of the Meijer LPGA Classic. Good scoring on day 1.
Golf Channel and the LPGA Tour welcome you back to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and first round coverage of the Meijer LPGA Classic for Simply Gift. Grant Boone, Hall of Fame member Judy Rankin, Tom Abbott, Jerry Foltz, Karen Stupples. The big scores, the low scores came in the morning wave, including So-Yeon Yu at the 17th for birdie. Matches her low round of the season, a 64, and then in the final grouping of the morning wave, American Kelly Shawn at the 9th hole. A 64 for her as well. The U.S. Men's Open on Long Island, Kelly from Port Washington out there on the western part of Long Island matches So-Yeon Yu, a former #1 in the world. So-Yeon looking for her first victory of this year. Couple of 66s, Selena Herbin of France, Lizette Salas from Southern California, lefty Caitlin Dambaugh. We saw Lexi Thompson with a 68 as well, a past winner. To 3.
Jackie Concolino taking a look at the birdie putt.
And she's doesn't have the most precise golf swing or the most precise ball striker, but she has a lot of feel and plays with a lot of heart. This is the part of her game that could use some improvement.
Coming off her best season on the LPGA Tour, 41st last year on the money list, 45th in the CME Globe. She had a second and a third place finish during the year. She also finished 10th here last year, the only time she's made the cut.
We're back at the 18th, and Lydia Ko getting a read from her veteran caddy, Johnny Scott. Karen? Johnny Scott has been with a number of terrific players, Karen, through the years, and the newest caddy for Lydia Ko this year.
And I think he's actually really good for her in many ways. He knows golf really well, and but he's also able to let Lydia flourish and play the shots that she wants to play. Nelly Corder unfortunately made bogey, and that's the start of a nice little roll for Lydia, I think.
Johnny was with Kari Webb for a number of years, Laura Davies, Janice Moody before that. So Lydia, back-to-back birdies. She'll make that backward turn under par. Pei-Yun Chin at the par 5 16th. From +1 to -1. Seven years old, makes her home in the Atlanta area. Just a moment ago, par 3 second, Angel Yin.
150 yards, wouldn't be more than a 9-iron and might very well be a wedge.
Two, 4, and 6, the par 3s on the front 9.
Concolino just tapping in for par. She actually gave up competitive golf after graduation from Vanderbilt. She became a caddy in Orlando, one of the resort courses down there. It was her fellow caddies that convinced her to play competitively once again. She'd been working for a couple of years, and she went out and played some mini tour events in 2011. Went to the LPGA Q School and made her card.
PGA Club professionals from across the country will head to the beautiful Monterey Peninsula. Their chance to compete for a spot in the PGA Championship. Don't miss the PGA Professional Championship Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Time for our Symetra Tour Money List update. Maya Schechter got the victory last week, and they're playing in Illinois this week. Top 10 will get their LPGA Tour cards for 2019. Some players are back and forth from the Symetra Tour to the LPGA Tour, trying to mix and match their schedule if they're not fully exempt. Annie Park was 3 times a winner on the Symetra Tour back in 2015. Now she's a winner on the LPGA Tour. 17.
Jacqueline Lee is going to leave the flag stick in here on the 17th. Have that, just need a little bit more, Jacqueline.
The fringes are pretty generous. A number of feet, looks like 4 or 5 feet, and they're also really smooth.
Here's a look at the flag of the 18th, and this marquee grouping has a little mojo working here after
Just a normal one, yeah?
a slew of birdies the last couple of holes. Here's Moria.
Yeah, I don't think birdie's on the mind right here with this lie. So many players try and hit driver on this fairway, and it just has this little bottleneck up the left and some slope, and you see a ton of balls in this exact area every year. 153 yards, ball well above her feet. The signal looked like 9-iron from her caddy, and that's going, you can't keep it from going left, so you compensate for it. You try and hold on tight, keep your hands in front of it, and aim right.
The other thing you could do to help your body and the club fit the hill is grip down on the club.
Looks like she is.
Much easier shot with a left-hand hole location, Judy.
Long par 3/4. Today playing 178.
Pin really tucked, flagstick really tucked on the right side of the green, just 9 feet from the edge.
So they can stretch this out well over 200 yards if they go to the other side of the water there, across the bridge of Sighs, as it's called, S-I-G-H-S. It's a big sized hole.
And it's about 220 from the front part of that tee. And I think we could see it played there sometime in the future.
17.
Laura Diaz for birdie. Couple of wins for Laura Diaz, but you've got to go back 16 years to find that victorious year for her.
Angel Yin, just 19 years old. This her 11th hole of the day. Birdie putt goes begging. One of the emotional leaders, even as a youngster, on the U.S. Solheim Cup team last year. Of course, it helps if you can hit it 300 yards. Michelle Wee at 18.
Her second shot from 139 yards. Narrowly missed going down that slope. Ball only slightly above her feet here. Going with pitching wedge. Little right of the hole if it's enough club.
Go. On the front right? Huh.
Ninth hole of the day for this marquee group. Couple of morning 64s from American Kelly Shan and Soyeon Yu of the Republic of Korea. Ninth hole of the day for Michelle Wie, Moria Jatanagarn, Pernilla Lindberg, all with lengthy putts for birdie. This one from off the green. And take a look here. First 6 holes, 1 birdie, 8 bogeys, and it picked up in the last couple of holes.
And it needed to.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. This one a little bit on the speedy side once it gets on the green. Downhill, turning right toward the hole. She's not away, but since she's leaving the flag stick in, she's putting first. Common courtesy and metal play.
18 has always played really tough, in part because of what Jerry said. The collection area in the rough to the left of the fairway. So a par here is always appreciated. They'll go to the par 5 first here in a bit. 11.
This is Jin Young Ko for birdie. She is leading the Louise Suggs Rolex Rookie of the Year race, and what a consistent campaign it's been for Jin Young Ko. She won the first event of the year down in Australia, and she has not missed a cut yet in her rookie season.
Par 3, 4th hole from just off the front of the green, Jackie Concolino. Nothing wrong any day of the week with a 3 at the 4th hole. She'll make sure she doesn't step in anyone's line. You good here? I'll step over here. The choreography. To the 18th and Moria for birdie.
Very lengthy one at that, turning a little right. Not going to get the line wrong by much on a putt like this because it's just subtle break. All the world-class players do is get over it and really try and focus on speed. Some of the spectators here have this green pretty well figured out, Grant.
Yeah. To the first.
Paula Creamer for a birdie, get it back to level par.
Get in there.
Yeah, just enough. She's still fighting her way back. Remember, she had the wrist surgery over the off season. 6 months she missed.
How about 3 in a row here for Michelle Wie?
That would be nice. This one just gently uphill, maybe a tiny amount of break to the left.
Left a couple of putts well short today.
I think it's one of those cases where the greens to the players, well, that one kind of took off. They just look a little faster than they are.
May have overcompensated a bit there. That's not in yet. 9th hole for this group. Back to 1.
Sue O now for a short birdie. And that is a tremendous run for Sue O. She's got an eagle, birdie, par, birdie. And she suddenly gets to 3 under par, having struggled a bit over the early going as we go back to the 18.
And the standard bearer waiting to see if she needs to change any of the scores for this group. Par putt for Michelle Wie.
Ever so slightly downhill. She watched it closely as it ran up the hill past the hole. Still goes through the entire routine. Shouldn't be a lot of doubt in her mind what it does.
Well, all in all, could have been worse.
Yeah, no doubt. Trying to fight her way back, and 9 holes to go. So
Sure.
This could still be an under par start.
Yeah, and a par 5 coming up. Jerry, thinking of this group, Moria Jatanagarn and Pernilla Lindberg both winning for the first time on tour, and any win is coveted. But when you stare down a Hall of Fame member like Inbee Park, as both of those players did, I would think it would mean even a little bit more, perhaps.
Yeah, no question. And more than that, Grant, and you know, that is a pretty close-knit community out here on the LPGA Tour. They were both two of the most popular wins amongst their peers that you'll ever find, because they're both so well liked and respected.
Two-putt par for Moria Chitanagarn, her 156th career start. She won it there in Los Angeles at Wilshire Country Club. Par 3 12th. This is Jong-un Lee 5.
Shot. Beautiful.
Have you ever known anyone else named Judy Rankin?
I think someone sent me something one time, a clipping, and there was a boxer named Judy Rankin.
Well, you never pulled any punches. You'll always be Judy number 1.
Just a moment ago at the first, third shot at the par 5 for Lydia Ko.
Strategically played this hole very nicely, hit the fairway off the tee shot, laid up to a nice spot here, slightly downhill lie.
Good shot. About to get to 2 under and make it 3 birdies in a row.
Sue O on the tee at 2. 4 under par is the best round among those in the afternoon wave. And O will have that to get to 4 under par.
And the run may continue.
Mainly right, left. Okay.
Eagle at 16, birdie at 17, birdie at the first, good look at birdie at the second. We go back to that first hole.
Lydia just going through her aim point method of figuring out the line.
And it just seems to me like something's just clicked on these last few holes. She's kind of just getting into the rhythm of playing a little bit. And just looks like the scoring has just amped up. She made that putt a couple of holes ago, and from that point on 17, it's almost like the confidence is back and she's just hitting quality shots. Did have a chance to speak to her this morning and asked her, how does she spend her time in the mornings before, having a late afternoon tea time. And this morning Lydia was actually watching the World Cup soccer. New Zealand don't have a team, so she was supporting Korea. Watch the opening ceremonies.
Good birdie. And a hat trick for Lydia Ko.
I see what you did there, Tom.
Yeah, okay, you got it. I'm glad.
'18th hole, Laura Diaz, her 9th hole of the day. 8 pars so far. That's her trademark move. She would always putt it and then kind of let go of the putter like, uh-oh, that may not, okay, and that's that. Little fist bump for son Cooper, 12 years old.
And about to be a wealthy man since he's getting 70%.
That's what his dad, Kevin, who used to be a coach at Wake Forest. Look at Cooper. He's got that Cheshire Cat grin. Are you ready to play with Rory at Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland? It's Golf Now's Tee It Up with Rory sweepstakes presented by TaylorMade. Go to golfnow.com/Rory. Good luck. And Rory may need some good luck if he's going to make the cut at the U.S. Open. Shot 80 today.
Your voice got kind of high when you said that.
I was getting choked up just thinking about it.
All
My
right.
goodness, he was choked up, I think, as well, in a different way.
Paula made a putt on the last hole. Let's see if she can back it up.
Got a wow out of Paula. Misread. 21-year-old Jacqueline Lee from Ohio State at the 18th. Wiggles and wobbles offline. 211.
Past winner here, Se Young Kim, won in 2016. Had a good week last week, fell away late. Remember, she had to pull a rabbit out of the hat at the end of the week if she was going to win. Needed a hold a bunker shot and eagle the last, have a chance. She's still in some pretty good form.
At the 18th, Kim Kaufman.
Well, we both have one thing in common. We watched Texas Tech baseball last weekend, and
To Omaha
they are
they
on
go.
their way to Omaha. So
With the guns up.
that's right.
Texas Tech.
Kim remains a big fan.
Well, Chris Beard took the men's basketball team into the Elite Eight. It's been a nice spring and summer, hasn't it? On the plains. Soyeon Yu and Kelly Shaw in the morning. Today, 64 setting the pace.
This is the 5th hole, right down on the lower part of the property here. Very pretty area with the river meandering around. And Jackie Concolino, 3rd shot coming up. Works hard with her coach Kenny Nairn down in Orlando. Great supporter of the game in that area. He's been part of the Golf Channel Academy for years, one of the originals.
The par 3 4th, and then this 5th hole are the 2 most difficult holes today on the front 9.
It's going to be okay. This is actually the back 9 for the members. They switch the 9s here, apart from the closing holes of each 9.
At the second, Sue O to get it to 4 under. Oh, goodness. Remember the one at 1 curled in? That one curled out.
That will be a little bit frustrating.
I would think so. Yeah. To the first.
Pernilla Lindberg.
Just 50 yards, pretty flat green, flat lie, nice lie. Pretty basic shot. You want to get it close. You expect to get it close.
Almost in. Pernilla's battled back well. Now Michelle Wee. That was a moment ago, of course. What's she going to do here, Jerry?
No, pretty much the same shot, although that rehearsal swing makes it look like she's really trying to spin it. So maybe land it a little deeper into the green, skip, and then start to check quickly. 39 yards, exactly what she tried. Very well.
Oh, so good, both of those shots. It can be an awkward length shot. I dare say a shot that these players practice quite a bit when they're back home. Michelle practices down at the Bears Club in Jupiter in the wintertime. Now Mario Jutanagan.
Same yardage, 39 yards. Well, she's just got to make this now. That's 2 that took a peek.
They both hit the hole, Jerry.
Yeah. And before you start sending your emails and getting on social media, this really wouldn't be considered one of those instances of backstopping here. Not from 39 yards away and the ball 3 feet behind the hole. It just would be inconvenient and slowing play for Michelle to walk up there to mark that.
Yeah, there has to be good judgment. And I thought the discussion that took place on social media was quite important last week. Mike Clayton, who actually does a bit of work with Sue O, Jimmy Walker, is involved in that. I think it was probably a good thing that that was brought to the attention.
Par 3 second, and Nelly Korda.
Very sheltered tee shot, making the clubbing and judging the wind difficult, but Nelly did that pretty good.
She's really hit the ball quite well. Maybe not quite squeezed everything out of it that she could have, but not a bad start for Nelly. Great start for these two.
Back with Mario Jutanagan for birdie.
Just a tiny bit uphill, not much break, maybe a little to the right. Oh, that bounced pretty quickly.
Yeah. Took all the speed out of it, didn't it? Concolino over on the 5th. Get to 5 under par, 3 back. Now Michelle Weave for the birdie at the first.
Just about 3 feet, ever so slightly downhill. Hardly any break. Much more traditional looking putting stance. Still doesn't look entirely comfortable though.
I'm not so sure that she's looked comfortable over her putter, probably since she was a teenager or a young teenager. Always fiddling around, changing things. Now Lindbergh, another player who's maybe struggled with the putter at times, but not this year.
She started that little thing of standing up a little bit straighter, changing her posture prior to the big win, and continues with it.
Good birdie. And look at that. Good bounce back.
The 1-foot birdie putts are helpful with your putting. Nelly Corda at 2.
And this one's slightly downhill, and when you're struggling to get the ball to the hole, this can be helpful.
Okay. A terrific tee shot. Nelly back to 2 under, 3rd birdie. To 12. Se-Young Kim. Here it comes. Oh, and there it goes.
You just start putting me downhill.
Okay.
So Se-Young Kim tied for the low round on the course at the moment in the afternoon wave. They'll get the fresh greens in the morning and a chance to go out and do something dramatic like we saw this morning with So-Yeon Yu and Kelly Shawn and others. Well, the golf course opened on this day in 1929, Blythe Field. Arnold Palmer won the 1961 Western Open here. It was his 26th victory out of 62. He went on to win the Open at Birkdale later that year, 1961. And Ricky Fowler won the Western Amateur here in 2005. Moment ago at the 2nd. Lydia Ko for a 4th straight.
This one is uphill. Has been stroking his putts a lot better recently.
Lydia Ko, here she comes. 4 straight birdies.
Starting to look the way I'm used to seeing her look when she rolls a putt.
And now live back on the tee, Michelle Wee.
That was just a little late iron. Asking it to go.
Go.
I believe it did.
Just asked nicely. Hold high. Again, this group got off to such a rocky start. Bogey to first 3, 5.
Jackie Concolino for a par. No. That is such a shame. We've done so much good work all day, and then that to be the only bogey of the round. Maybe a little weakness in her game. She'll fall back to 3 under par with that bogey on the par 5. Chasing So-Yeon Yu and Kelly Shawn, both round in 64. First time that this is played as a par 72 here at Blythe Field. This is Anna Nordqvist at the 11th. She's 4 under par.
Yeah, she's a player who did not have to come back from disaster early. She birdied the first 2 holes that she played.
Oh, please, almost knocking it in for an eagle. It's been a funny old season for Anna. She's missed 3 cuts, but had some pretty good performances. They've been consistent.
Couple of 64s this morning, and some players in the afternoon wave scratching and clawing just to try to get something 3-4 under par. Lydia Ko has had a nice little run, and she has our refreshing round of the day, brought to you by Sam Dessous. This was at the 17th. To level her score at even par. And you never know when you're about to start a streak. This is at 18 for another birdie.
The first was a left to righter. That one was a right to lefter.
Third shot at the par 5 first. Almost perfect. She would roll that in for birdie, and then just moments ago for a 4th in a row. Yes, a refreshing round of the day from Sam Dessous. Lydia Ko tied with Jin Young Ko, now no relation. 3 under. And we are at the 2nd, and Moria Jatanagarn is lining up this birdie putt.
She's first to putt in this group that doesn't even resemble the group that I followed the first 5 holes. They're all just striping, and now Moria hit a 7-iron that nearly ripped the flagstick out of the hole right over top of it, but as it is, a good 20 feet past. This one should just turn a little left late. A little bit of slope in this green from left to right as they play the hole.
Got a chance.
Oh, just perfect. Moria Jatanagarn and Sister Area took their first week of the season off last week. They had played every other tournament. Sarah Jane Smith had played every event until this week, so now no one has played every event. Par 3 6th. Jackie Concolino, see if she can hit a good one after that 3-putt bogey.
138 yards, not on the putting surface, but really not in any trouble.
It's her 3rd fringe on a par 3 on this front 9. Back we go to the 2nd in Pernilla Lindberg.
Great look here as well. Pernilla 7-iron underneath the hole. This one pretty straight uphill.
Oh boy, now they can't miss. They all birdied 16 and 17 to right the ship a bit, and now 4 birdies in 5 holes for Pernilla, back to even par. What a comeback. Her fellow Swede, Anna Nordqvist here.
And it's for birdie at 11. Best finish of the year, 7th, the Kia Classic, 10th, the Kingsmill. Of course, had that major victory in September last year at Evian. She'll defend her title. And the last player to defend the Evian in September before it moves to the summer in 2019. And Anna Nordqvist is creeping up there, looking for her first win of the year. This is a very busy time for the LPGA Tour. Good time to get into top form as we go to the tee at the 4th.
Nothing really out there.
And we see that bridge of Sai. And Sue O, 4 under.
It's 178 yards. The hole is Pretty close to the right side of the green, just 9 feet off the right side of the green. And I think you see a lofted hybrid right there.
Good shot.
Beautiful.
Good chance to pick up another shot at the fourth. To the second, and how about another hat trick for this group?
A little bit downhill, tiny bit of break to the right.
Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
All birdied 16, all birdied 17, all birdied 1, all birdied 2. Fun. Birdies are fun. And Michelle Wie goes to 1 under. Anna Nordquist moves on to the front page. Just had a birthday on Sunday. Feeling good. Say Young Kim as well. Lydia Ko with 4 straight birdies as she plays the third. Today's coverage is brought to you by the Meijer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Volvic Vivid, the world's best-selling matte finish golf balls. Volunteers of America, helping America's most vulnerable. And by Prudential, official financial services provider of the LPGA.
Eagle birdie birdie.
Eagle birdie. On the tee at the par 3 12th, we are going to find Anna Nordquist, who's 5 under par and 3 shots off the lead.
And the pictures may fool you a little bit, but this short shot plays right up the hill.
Didn't get all the way up the hill, but we'll have a birdie attempt nonetheless.
Half a club short. Flag hangs limp. No wind to speak of.
Near perfect scoring conditions. This is the par 3 6th, and Jackie Concolino for birdie.
Okay.
A 3-putt and a no putt.
Right.
That adds up to?
Played
3.
2 holes even par.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
She's
You got me
back to 4 under.
confused.
There you go.
Anyone
6-2.
Anyone else ever tell you that you confuse them?
And maybe sometimes to get a life.
No.
You've told me that a couple of times. Well, there was a little lifelessness, wasn't there, early in our broadcast, but then all of a sudden the par 5 16th, which was converted from a par 4 tough one to a relatively easy par 5, and then that group, Wie and Lindbergh and Moria, turned it on, didn't they?
Well, early on we heard from So-Yeon Yu about her round, and she was pretty upbeat, needless to say, already talking about trying to win the golf tournament. But then we had these players who didn't start out very well with the afternoon starters, and it just seemed as though it was a kind of quiet afternoon, and finally now everybody has picked up the pace with their games. It's starting to be a lot of fun to watch.
And it is weird. We talked about this. When you step to the first tee and you look up and it's 8 under par is already leading, it can be the good news is good scores are out there. The tough news is you feel a little pressure to make a bunch of birdies early, don't you? Or you can.
Maybe so. I think you do feel like the golf course is there for the taking, and if you get yourself 2 or 3 over par, which a number of players did, that's a real downer.
But now Lydia Ko has made 4 straight birdies. She's moved it to 3 under. Anna Nordquist has moved it to 5 under par. You mentioned the big hitters have had some success here, and we're going to see Lexi Thompson in our coverage tomorrow. She has had a tremendous record around Blythe Field, and Lydia Ko's got a pretty good record, Tom, just about everywhere.
I'm not sure the big hitter story is as true today as it has been in the past.
Certainly gave it a good run to keep that birdie run going. Looking for 5 in a row. Well, I think that leaderboard could have a few more names towards the top come the end of the day. Grant will be able to follow along with the Golf Channel app.
So Young Yu, Kelly Shawn, the 64s, low round of the year for both. So Young Kim continues to play well. We'll see Ariya Jutanugarn, Lexi Thompson, Brooke Henderson, among others, in our coverage tomorrow, and our second round broadcasts 1:30 Eastern Time from here at Blythe Field Country Club in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Some low scores in the morning, some tough starts in the afternoon, but now some afternoon birdies for all of us. Tom Abbott, Jerry Foltz, Karen Stupples, the Hall of Fame member Judy Rankin. I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching the LPGA Tour. We'll see you tomorrow from Blythe Field Country Club in Grand Rapids, second round of the Meijer LPGA Classic.